Hey, how's it going? I'm Phase Dragon. Nice to meet you. Today, I have something really cool I gotta show you. Alright? See that? Put my hand inside, and I pull it out, and I have a particle. No gestures, no trickery, no acting and getting the timing right. It is legitimately put your hand inside, and a particle sticks to your hand. And of course, it disappears after a second, but that's just the lifetime, you can adjust that. Here, let's see how I've done another avatar, working on it. An actual avatar. No trigger, no gestures. Of course, I have the gesture to activate the fire, but once the fire is active, it has a trigger for shooting off the fireballs. I've also got this. I need to fix the timing on it, but you can have as many particles or as many colliders as you want. You can have fireballs here. You can have waves on the side. You can have all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could have an entire library on a world object. Reach in, grab a book from any of the shelves. So many options. Let's hit into Unity and see how it works. Alright, let's get into it. So, first things first, I'm going to just use a tutorial avatar, just so that I don't have to deal with whatever. And first, just saying, this is a fairly advanced tutorial. It's not, like, hopefully you already know how to upload your own avatar, you know how to make your own avatar, you know how to make your own particle effects, and you know how to make your own gestures. So this is not a replacement for gestures, it's like in addition to gestures. So if you don't know how to do gestures already, please look that up first, because this kind of is, it's not like a, oh, I'm too lazy to do gestures, I'm just going to do this. That's not what this is for. Anyway, and the other thing is, I hope you understand how world particles in VRchat work. So what I'm doing here is just adding a rigid body to my hand, and then I'll have another particle system, or another folder, and a fixed joint connected to it. If you don't know what I'm doing here, please look up how to do world particles in VRchat first and foremost, because it's, you know, this is a fairly advanced tutorial, and yeah, so just gotta set this up. Alright. Now we're going to add a particle system, and we're going to go in disable shape, disable start speed, and we'll keep the emission at 10. Now, this triggers thing here is where all the magic happens. So I know there's a lot of modules here that, like, I've kind of just didn't notice. Like, you know, I looked at them once and I noticed, oh, it's for script code. You know, I don't do that. VRchat doesn't allow that, so I'm just gonna ignore it. Whatever. But you know, there's a lot of cool stuff in here, especially like, I mean, I'm not sure what external forces does, but if anybody knows, oh, okay, yeah, see, again, I would assume that's for scripting, but I don't know. So if anybody knows if you can do like wind or stuff or whatever with that kind of stuff, I don't know. Anyway, so now, if you notice the huge radius scales, we're going to set this down to 0 so that it's actually collider is really tiny. And then we're going to create a sphere. And this sphere is going to be a thing where we put our hand inside of it, and then we pull it out, and then we have a thing. And I'm going to set this to be, oh wait, no, not that material. This material, there we go. So it's slightly transparent. And I'm also going to set it to is trigger, not because I'm using it as a trigger, which, like, you might, I don't know, it's a weird designation. I don't know why they call it is trigger, but basically what it means is that when you set it to is trigger, it doesn't act as a physical object. It's just a collision space that you can do things with, which means use it for cloth, you use it for this, I'm sure you use it for other stuff that I'm not sure about, but whatever. Now we're going to drag this guy in here, and all we do is, if it's ever outside, then kill it. And now you can see it flickers because it's dying immediately after coming into existence. And if we drag this into here, we can see, oh, it lives, right? And reset the position again. So now, if we don't want it to flicker, we can do, for example, color over lifetime. And I'll set this to fixed, and there we go. So now, even though it's still flickering into existence, which you won't see this flickering because, you know, it's not actually doing anything, but anyway. Now, when we drag it into here, boom. And so all I did here was color over lifetime, so with the first frame or two of its existence, it's invisible. And this is something that you want to kind of be careful with if you have like a really long lifetime. So I set this to like 10,000 or whatever, you'd need to set this to be like really tiny there. Anyway, something to be careful of. But we're not actually going to use color over lifetime because we're not even going to render this particle at all. And instead we're going to have another particle and sub-emitter on the first one, drag it in there. Now, we're going to set the emission to burst. If you ever dealt with like, guns and like collision particles, this is a similar thing where it's only going to be there for, you know, a moment. And so instead of having to go through the rate over time, which means it has to like go, okay, this is time start here, and then my first particle is going to be emitted here, and then here, and then here. It has to like loop through the fire rate for a moment, but that's not what we want. We want bursts so that it shoots off immediately. But we don't necessarily want it to shoot off immediately. We just want the control enabled through bursts. We actually want to set the delay to 0.2, or you can do like 0.1, I'm not sure. Either way, it should be fine because as long as the sub-emitter has enough time to spawn, you know, you should be fine. So yeah, now you can see whenever we're inside this cube, it spawns particles. Now we want to turn the shape off, set start speed to 0, and now, oh right, I think there is some weirdness with, yeah, so if you're ever experiencing like that, where like, yeah, it's like, it does this kind of thing, that's just because the particle simulation doesn't really work so well. That's why we have to go into play mode. So now it works. Now it works. Now the second thing you'll notice is that I don't know why, for whatever reason, it's probably a Unity thing. The very first particle that gets spawned is way over here. Now, once it gets going, it spawns particles in the right place. Beats me. I don't know. But we can work around this. So what we're going to do is make a new 3D object centered on the hand, and in the exact same place as the particles. So, oh wait, actually, yeah, reset this to speed. There we go. Perfect. So now, oh, no, this is in the wrong place too. Okay, so now they're all centered in the same place. Move this to the center of the hand too. So what we're going to do is set this to triggers. So this is on the secondary particle system, not the first one. We're going to have two sets of things, and triggers, sphere, and if it's ever outside, kill it. So now what that does, let's see, oh wait, we also need to set 3D scale to 0, otherwise it won't work properly. Now scene. There we go, perfect. So now, you might be able to notice it. I'm having a hard time noticing it, but one little precaution is that, similar to how the original particle system would flicker, sometimes if the secondary particle system ever spawns something out here, then it will flicker for just a moment, and we don't want that. So instead, we're going to do the exact same thing, color over lifetime, and set this to be invisible for the first, first couple frames of its life, so that even if it does flicker into existence, it's not going to actually render, which is what we want. So, boom. And you can adjust this so that there's less of a delay, but I won't get into that for now. And we can also change this so that its lifetime, or its max particles, I mean, is 1, so that there's only ever 1 of it. Boom. Yeah, that's, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the deal. Now, I've been working just with local particles so that they will stick to my hand. But if you ever want to do world particles, those are fun too. You're going to want the base particle system, the flickering one, to be local, always. I mean, unless you have, I don't know, unless you're doing other stuff, but now we can see, oh right, so the thing is, fortunately, because this would actually be a really annoying issue if it wasn't, but fortunately, if we use world space, it doesn't have that weird offset issue. It'll always spawn it in the right place. So we can see, boom, it spawns it just the right place, and we can actually bring the worlds or the max particles back up, so we can do like a trail only while you're inside of a particular area. That might be fun. All kinds of stuff. There's so many cool ideas you can do with this. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. But one thing that I will go over that I've discovered with this as well is, well, I don't know if I've discovered this part of it necessarily, but another part is that let's go back into regular mode. So I'm going to copy, or actually, yeah, I'm going to copy the whole thing, delete it, paste it, okay, just so that I've got it back. And something kind of weird behavior that I discovered is that if you ever want to like shoot off a projectile, like I've got with my fireballs on my Avatar Korra, then you can't just do start speed. Like, let's say I want that to be 5. I don't know why. It has something to do with the... right, I can't do that. I need to move through here. It has something to do with... oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, no. I forgot. That's what the issue was. Is that it will work, but it'll always be going in the same direction, and we can't rotate it, right? So... yeah, world particle weirdness, probably a Unity 5.6 thing that we got, but to work around this, there is a workaround. We're going to, let's see, turn the start speed off, and now we're going to set the start speed of the original particle. This is the one that's still flickering, right? And we're going to change that start speed to something infinitesimal, like 0.001 or whatever, so that it's not actually moving. We don't want it to actually move. We just want it to have a value of speed. And then we're going to go into this other one and inherit velocity, initial, and this will be really high, like 1,000, let's see. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4 decimals. So I think I want to do 4 and then 5, so I want the start speed to be 10. So it'll be inheriting the velocity of the initial particle. And there's also some other weirdness that goes on with particles. You might notice inside of rigid bodies, velocity is being driven by a rigid body, which means if you're waving your hand around, it's not going to inherit that velocity. It'll only inherit the velocity of this relative to, it'll only inherit the velocity of this relative to the particles. I don't know why, but anyway, in this case it's beneficial because that's exactly what we want. So now, let's see. Yep, that's the speed we want, and now we can rotate this to 90 so that it's coming out of our hand, and boom, it goes in the right direction. And it will always go in the right direction. And that's pretty much it. And of course I didn't change it in the regular mode, but that doesn't matter. Actually no, it's going to bug me. So yeah, let's see. I think that is pretty much it, really, depending on whether you want to do world particles or local particles. There's a couple different things I have to do for each, and I hope the audience that I'm reaching with this kind of understands what's going on. But you know, as always, if you have any questions, if you didn't follow along, you know, hit me up on Discord, FaceDragon7157 or number 7157, in the VRchat Discord. You can also leave a comment on this video, and I'll do what I can to help you out. But yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys make with this. And you know, just to give you guys a couple ideas, maybe, I mean, you can do so many things. Like, you could spawn a world object of like a gun cabinet and then reach in and grab guns, and then like in order to shoot them, the shooting is a sub-emitter on the gun, and you're just enabling that sub-emitter. You know, all kinds of things. Like, so much potential. I will say the one unfortunate thing about this is that it's particles. This isn't the same thing as like an inventory system in which you rotate between a bunch of different stuff. That I know a lot of people have been kind of figuring out how to do that lately. But so you're not going to have sound effects, you're not going to have animated meshes and shaders. I mean, you could have animated meshes, but they would have to be on a loop. They wouldn't be something that only activates when the particle first comes into existence. So like, you can't reach out and grab a sword and use a dissolve shader to materialize it. You know, it would have to be something like yeah. So you know, that's a little bit of a downside to it, but you know, hopefully that's not a huge deal. There's still a lot of potential to this, so I hope to see what you guys make. See you around.